My name is Kabelo Mbayi, and thank you so much for tuning into Aspiring, the show where we speak to young professionals or students who are looking to go into some professional professions, and they're going to speak all about it. And it's all to provide information and education about the different career fields you can go into. Today, I have a friend of mine. His name is Kabelo. And Kabelo, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
You good? Yeah. You can relax, don't worry. It's just a conversation
I'm chill.
between two friends. Well, Kabelo is studying computer science at UCT, and today we're speaking all things about the computer science profession. Maybe you are into technology, maybe you are into coding, and he can maybe give you some insight as to what you can expect in your university journey and what you can expect going forward. So we're going to start off with some icebreakers, okay?
Okay.
Nothing too hectic, something very simple. What superpowers would you want?
Superpower.
And why?
The ability to stop time.
Oh, okay, why?
Because I feel like sometimes I want to be in like two places at the same time, but I can't.
And you want to do like a lot more.
Yeah, I want to do a lot. Like I feel like, like I don't know how some people do it, but like, in 24 hours, I feel like it feels like so little time. So I wish I could like, slow it down for a bit.
Slow down. Okay. Yeah. If you were to travel to one country in the world and maybe live there, where would you go?
One country in the world and live there. Maybe like, such a tough question. Actually, now I'm like, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Okay. So like Dubai side.
Yeah, that's it. Like I think I like what's happening in the Middle East right now. So
okay. Okay. So you want where the money's at?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. What are some of your things on your bucket list? Can you give me a top 3, top 5?
Okay, fine. Bucket list. I'd say the first one is to start an organization.
Okay.
Okay. I don't really have a bucket list, right?
Okay.
So I think, essentially speaking, I take every day as it comes. I think like obviously things like evolve and change as things go, but like I'd say there's a goal for what I want to do.
So the organization's like top of
mind. I think like that's like end goal. Like that's like end goal.
What kind of organization are we talking about?
I don't know. Like I feel like in the back of my mind, right? Like not in the back of my mind, like deep down, I want to like be able to like leave an impact on the world, right? I feel like we get like one life, and like we've throughout time we've seen all these people who've come and like left an impact. I think right now someone I look up to a lot is like Elon Musk.
Okay.
Because like
he's controversial.
I mean, yeah, but like I like the things he's doing. Like the things he's doing out there right now. It's like if you look at the stuff he's trying to do with Starlink and like pushing towards freedom of speech and all this stuff. It's like stuff like that where like whether you like him or not, like
he is pushing it.
He is pushing it. These stories already written for him.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Elon Musk, maybe you'll work with him one day. If you could eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
So it's actually quite funny because like recently I have been eating one meal.
Okay.
So I'd eat like steak.
Steak.
Yeah, so I've been like on the carnivore diet. So
so it's like majority meat.
Just meat, like
just meat.
Yeah, like meat, fats.
And no vegetables, no nothing.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How's your bank account surviving? Is my question.
No.
As a student.
No, like I subsidize with like eggs and stuff.
Okay.
Right? But yeah, that's what I've been recently.
Carnivore diet. Okay. Yeah. Would you recommend?
I would. I don't like you. Like it's like there's a lot of discipline that you get from it, and like just I don't know. I feel quite healthy. I feel good about myself.
Okay, that's good. One last one. What is the one thing a lot of people don't know about you?
I don't know. I feel like okay, so the one thing I'd say people don't know about me is that like I like different things, right? Like I can blend into like different crowds. So it's like I feel like sometimes when you take me from face value, you could think that like I'm into a certain type of thing, right? I don't think people actually know that like deep down I am
versatile.
A versatile one, and also it's like I want to kind of be like like the social entrepreneur. Like I want to like change the world. So I say sometimes people don't know about me. I think people sometimes think I just like money, and not actually the whole aspect of like just changing the world and giving like creating an opportunity for the world to like grow.
Okay, yeah. Spoken like a true Ellen Gray candidate fellow. So you're studying towards computer science, right? Yeah. When did that idea to study computer science like just pop up for you?
Okay, so for me it was like we have a backstory, right? So it was like I finished matric, then I did like 2 years of A-levels afterwards, and like even after A-levels I didn't know I wanted to study. Right, so it was like kind of hard when you're like kind of smart in like a lot of things, like you don't really know what you want to do.
Sure.
At first I was like, maybe engineering or maybe this, maybe that, and then I don't know, I just kind of sat down. I kind of started thinking, okay, what directions are what going in, right? And like, what can I do to help make an impact or help make a change? And I started thinking, okay, we're moving towards the fourth the technological revolution,
yeah.
right? Yeah. So it's like we're moving in that direction, right? So how can I best equip myself, right, to kind of like help enable like tech and like all this stuff in Africa.
Okay.
So that's when like the idea came up. And I was like, okay, computer science. And I was like, okay, UCT. Okay, it's also like a 3-4 year course. So I'll be like in and out.
I like that. You don't want anything too long. You're gonna come in, you're gonna get out immediately. Okay, so you wouldn't say it was something where, like, since you're 10 years old, you've wanted to do this. It's more later on in life it came to you.
Yeah, because I think like as a person, like as you grow, you're meant to like evolve, right? So it's like the things I probably wanted like 10, 15 years ago are a lot different to what I wanted like, now, right?
True.
And it's like I'd say that one thing I'm grateful for is that like a decision I made like 4 or 5 years ago, right, has like kind of paved its way now. Right.
Okay.
So yeah, like I just think it's just all about like like just evolving and like the vision changing as well.
I like that. You're like kind of saying that don't limit yourself too early, and like as time goes, you're going to evolve, you're going to change. The decisions you are making, like they don't, like essentially they're not going to hold you back all the time. But like as you make the decision, you can move forward with it.
Yeah, because it's like if you think of it, like everything you do today, right, will add up 5 years from now, right?
True.
So it's like, as a person, I believe that like you should always seek to kind of like grow yourself and like not limit yourself, like what you're saying. So in a way, if you look at life, like, okay, what am I doing to like grow myself? Like, like that's why education is vital, right? So in like allowing myself to kind of like expand my knowledge base and say,
True.
okay, let me go out there in the world and like grow, right? It's helped me grow, and then that I'm also able to help like the things around me also grow and like flourish.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. So what is computer science? We always hear these, it's the fourth industrial revolution, go study engineering, go study computer science. What is computer science?
Okay, so computer science is actually quite like it's a broad subject, right? And most of the time people like to like shoehorn it in under like one subject, like tech, right? Because I study computer science and business computing, right? So computer science is more so like a science where like you kind of learn how like computers work and how all these systems and stuff work and like how to build them and stuff, right? Whereas information systems is you learn how to use these systems, right, to help people with these systems. Do you get what I mean?
Okay.
So in a simple way, computer science is like learning how this stuff is built and building it yourself, right? And then information systems is like actually using this stuff to help people, if that makes sense.
So computer science essentially is like someone who's building the system.
Yeah.
And then information system is helping people use the system.
Exactly. You using the system to help people. You
Okay.
get me?
Because I think oftentimes people want to go into university, maybe to study IT, information systems,
Exactly.
and computer science, and they don't really know which direction to go. How did you come to the decision you made you said you are doing business computing and computer science, which essentially is similar to information systems and computer science
Yeah, I mean,
together?
it is just what they call it. And basically, it is the same thing.
Okay.
Right. So how I came to the decision was, like I said, like earlier, I wanted to do something in tech, right? Like in computer science, right? And then that I also wanted to be able to like, still do something that could keep me like business oriented and stuff, right? So then like seeing that like it was a blend of two things, I was like, oh, okay, cool. And like, I'd recommend this course selection, right, for someone who enjoys coding or wants to learn how to code, right? And someone who also wants to learn like those soft skills, like, people management, project management, and like all this other stuff that you learn through information systems.
Okay.
Yeah, like right now, like I'm very good at like typing out reports, right? And I feel
wow.
like you learn that from like information systems, like presentation, how to layer things, like how to prepare for like interviews, how to work with people. You don't get those skills from like computer science, if that makes sense.
Pure computer science degree.
Yeah, because with the pure one, like you just kind of like learn how to build things and all this stuff, right? But with that information systems, like you can take that knowledge and then use it to kind of help people. Like I'm saying, like you could like do like right now in information systems, I'm learning business process management, right? So like now I can like understand how a business works. Like I know top down, like I could go into a business, see where it's inefficient, and like help fix it.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So you're using those soft skills from computer science?
No, from information.
From
systems.
information systems, sorry, to help you. Okay.
Yeah.
So it is practical in a sense. Most of it is practical, and you can see where it is going. Do you think that someone should have coding skills to enter into computer science or information systems?
No, I don't think so. I don't think you necessarily need coding skills. I think what you need is like more so the passion, right? Which is maybe where I kind of liked it for. Like I wouldn't say, I'd say I like that like drive, right? To wake up every day and like want to like code and want to do and want to learn, right? I was just trying to get through the assignments because I actually came here wanting to learn how to make apps and stuff, right? So
Okay.
now it's like you go through a degree and like you're learning like the foundation, like all that stuff, right? And like you kind of get bored and like you push through it, but like understanding now that like actually the stuff I was learning back then was actually quite important, right? So I'd say like as long as you're driven, like anyone can learn.
Anyone can do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are some of the requirements you would say someone should kind of have? Like what background, maybe in high school, that could equip them better in university?
So I mean, like they always said, like computer science needs someone with like a critical thinking. So I'd say like if you've done like like your sciences, like your physics, chemistry, maths, obviously. Maybe if you've done IT in school, but like if you've just done like maths, something that just stimulates your brain.
Okay.
Do you get what I mean?
Nothing, like, not necessarily you have to do comp sci like you said.
Yeah, like I wouldn't say you need to do comp sci. You just need to have the ability to learn and the willingness as well.
Okay.
Because I actually think anyone could learn how to code, right? It's just more so how dedicated you are to learning.
To learning it.
Yeah.
So you spoke about how you weren't as, how can I say this? You weren't as passionate.
Yeah,
You're lazy, you're saying. How did you overcome that? Because obviously, 3 years, 4 years for a degree is quite long. You don't want to not be passionate at all throughout your 3 years. How did you learn to overcome that?
I think it came with time, because I think that's the nice thing about the university experience, right? Where you see a lot of this stuff, like, people always say there's online courses, this and that, but like I think a lot of the stuff, like university allows you to also just grow as a person, right? I think when I first came, my mind was like, okay, I want to like learn this stuff quickly and then like get into the world and do this stuff, right? And I wasn't really appreciating the journey. And it's like, as time went by, I started like to appreciate the journey. And I started to see like, oh, like this is like giving me the building blocks to do more, right? In my head, it's like I still wanted to be spoon-fed, because I'd say that like maybe I was used to that. Like, and I remember like in high school, my teachers used to say to me, like, you'll struggle in university, right? Or like, even though I did well in school, they'd say you struggle in university just because of like my attitude to like learning, right? And I saw it now in like hindsight, where I'm like, oh damn, like these guys weren't like, because I came here with a lazy attitude that like, oh okay, I'll be spoon-fed, write the exam, then pass, right?
Yeah.
But I think at some point in time, I understood that like as time went by, and like I felt like, oh damn, these assignments are getting so much harder, right? Because I didn't take the time to like learn when I was being taught the stuff in the beginning, right? It started to like bite me in the butt.
In
like,
the end.
In the end, you get
Yeah.
me. So at some point in time, I said, okay, no, let me take time to learn, and then like just start to appreciate it.
The willingness to learn.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what are the key learnings that you've encountered so far? Like you spoke about one, the willingness to learn, but what else throughout your university journey in comp sci and business competing that you've learned?
I'd say it's like another one is like working with people, right? Or like just being around people. I think that like because we came from like we started school during like the whole COVID stuff, right? I don't think people understand how valuable it is to like be able to work with people and interact with people, because I think most of the time we like to be isolated, but like like especially this year, I started going to like class more.
Oh,
right?
wow.
Like the past 2 years I was just like watching like lecture videos and stuff.
So you're at home.
Yeah, at home, but like it's like you go to class, you become friends with people, you start to see like different ways of thinking. It also like expands the way that you think as well. It's not like isolated. Right. So I'd say that's one thing I've learned. Also just like a way of like, I'd also say that like my ability to like go harder at has been expanded.
To push yourself.
To push myself, exactly, to a limit where back in the day when I get a task, I get an assignment, I'm like, oh, this is hard, I don't know what to do. Right now it's like I can get something and not know what to do, but be able to push myself and be able to accept the possibility of failing. Okay. Because I'd say when you come as like an overachiever, right? The thought of failure sometimes kind of scares people, right?
True.
But I'd say one thing I've learned now is that like you can fail, and like I'm okay failing. You get me? Like I mean, at first it's kind of scary because you're like, oh, you gotta keep like
you're used to.
Not something you're used to, and it's like you're thinking about like so many other factors. Like if I fail, it's like another year. My bursary, all this stuff, right? But like now it's like just understanding that like failing is also part of learning. If you don't know what it's like to fall, you'll never know what it's like to be up.
Ooh, you're spitting so fast.
No,
like,
that's true.
Yeah, that is very true. Like appreciating failure, and I think, like you said, coming to school or university as an overachiever, failure is somewhat inevitable, and it's something I always say. It's inevitable to fail at university.
Yeah.
And what's more important is how you get back up. Like, are you going to fail forward, or are you going to like relish or stay in your failures? Like, you can't continue to live in it. You need to find a way forward at some point.
Exactly, because like I look at like this, like in life, it's like I believe if you really want something, right, you're willing to work through everything to get it right. So it's like if right now I have a setback right now, right, if I decide to give up, like did I ever really want it, or did I just like the idea of saying I wanted? You get me? And that's how I look at life. Like that's how I look at my journey. Where like okay, I want to be successful, right? So it's like if something doesn't go according to plan, let's say there's a setback here, right? I look at like okay, this is like a sign to like pick myself up and go harder, right? Because if you really want it, like
you will push for it.
You will push for it, exactly.
Okay. Ooh, that's a deep one. When you say that, like failing forward and getting used to failure, I think I've struggled with that personally. You always want to achieve. You always want to be great at something, and learning to accept that you're not where you need to be, and you just need to go back to basics. Why am I failing? What actually am I not learning that should be helping me move forward, but it's actually keeping me back? So yeah, that's interesting. So you are from Bots, right? You're from Botswana.
Botswana.
There are a lot of Botswana students in UCT. Like there's quite a big community this side. So you're from Botswana. What has your international student experience been like? And if someone who's not from SA, what can you like tell them about your journey through UCT?
I'd say there is a culture shock, right? Because like I think maybe growing up in like Botswana, for example, like you go to Joburg and like Joburg's it's still very the same, like the culture there, right? And now you move somewhere where like the vernac isn't like the same vernac, it's predominantly Xhosa and Zulu which is being spoken to, and like because like if I'm in Joburg and someone's speaking to me, even if it's in Pedi, I can understand, right? Now you're here, you see that's like the first one, the language barrier there. Just also like the culture, right? I'd say it's a lot more fast paced here to what I'm used to, right? I'm used to like a very slow paced thing. Like I remember when I first got here, I was with my mom and like, or like Ubering everywhere to get all the stuff, and as we're Ubering everywhere, I'm like, I remember like as soon as I moved in, I'm talking to my friend, my roommate at the time, and he's like, oh, and just use Take-A-Lot like to buy all this stuff. And I'm like, what do you mean Take-A-Lot? Like what's that? Like, so it's like now you start learning about like online ordering, right? I can't remember the last time I went to like a physical store to buy something. I just go and Take-A-Lot, right? You look at things like Uber, for example, e-hailing, right? Like back at home, I'm usually driving around town. Now I'm here and I'm like, oh, calling Ubers all the time, right? And I'm not even like carrying money, like even just things like carrying cash. You don't carry cash. You carry like, like your mobile phone, you tap and all that stuff, right? And I'd also say, what else? I'd also say like fitting in can be quite tough, right? Especially if you're like someone who's like introverted, because it's like, I get lost in the sauce. You get what I mean? Because I think like the issue is that like when people come, like it's easier when you come here with like your group of friends, right?
True.
But when you come as like an individual, it can be a bit scary and it can be a bit hard because it's like, like you're gonna make friends. Like I think as humans, we all seek companionship, right? So it's like you're gonna make friends. So it's like, oh, you're gonna go to the club every day, or you're gonna go here, you're gonna go here. Sometimes it's not your scene, so it's kind of hard if you're in like a space or place where it's not really like friendly, or like you feel like you don't fit in. Because I struggled with fitting in for like so long, right? And I'd say at some point in time it did kind of get lonely, right? But then I think it's just a part of my journey. Do you get what I mean? Like I need to understand like how that felt, right?
True.
And then like you see this year I was like, okay, like I started going to school more often, right? So I started going to school more often, I started making more friends, and like see, I've made like a lot of friends. And I was like, oh wow, like such a lovely place.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd say so to answer the question properly, like fitting in can be quite hard, right? But like once you find your people, you find your groove, like it's dope.
I think it's what you said is so true, and thank you for being vulnerable about it, because not everyone's going to admit that university can be a lonely journey, especially because you are far away from majority of your family. They're in a different country altogether. It's not like you can easily just go there. Bots is what you have to fly directly. It's what 6-7 hours.
No, like 2 hours. That's exactly
that is so crazy. Oh my word.
No, because it's like I'd say like just to touch back on that. I
Bots
think
is
like
around the corner. What was I thinking?
The thing with this is like even like because for me like I said like I wanted to grow when I came here. Like coming here was just a part of like my journey forward towards growing, right? So it's like obviously when you go back home it's still like depressing as well because you're like I'm still in the same spot, like you get me. Then you're here and it's like things are moving too fast, you get me, or like you're not fitting in. So I think at some point in time as a person you need to decide what you want, right? And in deciding what I want to understand, like, okay, no, like this is something that like I need to go through for a while to get to. Oof. You won't ever grow if you stay within your comfort zone, right? So I think that's the thing that makes it lonely, being outside your comfort zone.
True.
And doing the things that you need to do to get to where you need to get to.
You are dropping some gems today. Oh my word, no, because you are dropping some real gems, because not only are we speaking about computer science, but we're speaking about university life in general. And we can quickly get into comfort zones. And that's where, like what I always say, don't limit yourself. When you are in your comfort zone, you are always limiting yourself.
Exactly.
And you can't expect to be someone else if you're not willing to make the changes or to grow through the challenges that you're facing. So, yeah. Oh, my word. Oh, it's deep. It's very, very deep. What would you say in terms of computer science has been a challenge, and how have you overcome it? Like, would you say academically it has been demanding of you, where you really couldn't see a way out of it, and how have you overcome that?
So I'd say like, so I like to say like our degrees are like interconnected, right? Like so it's like my degree, like my friend helped me through it, you get me, and I helped him through it, right? So it's like I'd say what helps you overcome the challenges is that like what you don't understand, right? Someone can help you understand it, right? So I'd say that's the nice thing about is that like yes, the degree is hard and it can become a bit demanding, right? But like the nice thing about it, right, is that like it gets you the position where you work with other people. you speak to other people. You kind of realize like you can't do everything all by yourself.
True.
You put yourself in that vulnerable position to kind of say like, I actually don't know what's happening.
I need help.
Exactly. Not many people know how to do that, right? So yeah, I'd say like, wait, what was the question again?
Like, what has been the challenge with CS and how have you overcome? And I think like what you said about your friends being there and you guys exchanging knowledge and asking for help is valid.
So yeah, I just say exactly. I think like so the big challenge is that like, think of it like this, like a lot of the time you're doing stuff that like maybe doesn't interest you, right? I remember we were doing this one component of computer science, right? I think it was like architecture, right? And you know, like if you're not interested in something, right, you won't put 100% into it, right? So you're doing something that you really don't like that much. It's quite hard. Like, it's like being able to kind of like force yourself to do it because you have to do it, right?
Yeah.
That's what is hard, right? But like what makes it easy is having people around you to support you through that, right?
Yeah.
And work on it together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So were you ever part of, the notorious MAM 1000 squad? Where, like I think MAM 1000 at UCT is synonymous for being the hardest first year course. Like every computer science or maths-based degree has to do MAM 1000. Did you ever experience that, MAM 1000, the fear that is always put onto people as soon as they enter university?
So a funny story about MAM 1K is that like, when I first came, I was like speaking to like the student advisor and they said, oh no, like, take MAM 1K. It's like, it's a fun one. And, I took it because like also like, I was very smart at maths, right? I got like an A+ for like A-level maths, like not to flex.
Flex,
but like, no, but like, yeah, that's like,
it's
so it's like I came and I was like, it's just maths, right? Like that's how I look at life. I was just look at things like practical stuff as it's easy, right? So I did MAM 1K for like the first week and like, obviously like, I'm transitioning to this whole online school stuff, right? And I remember my first weekend, I was like in my room, I'm like, still covering all the lectures and stuff, right? And then the Monday hit and we had TUT on Monday, right? So, and the TUT on like that week's work, right? So during the TUT, like, there's people who are done with it. Like the TUT came out like 8 a.m. I think the TUT was at like 12, like our session was at 12. And people are done with it. And it's on this week's content, which also came out at 8 a.m., right? I'm like, huh? Oh, all these guys like done with this stuff and like I'm still on like last week's work, right? Like I was even on this stuff and I was like, nah, it's crazy. And I just dropped it from there. Like I dropped after 1 week because I just saw like, do I want my whole uni experience to be me in my room, like just working the whole week? So I was like, nah, like that's not for me.
So you took another maths course?
Yeah, I then took my 1000.
Okay, because I think MAM 1000 is notorious for being the worst first year course.
Because I think because like people come here like we're still like you're still on that high from like high school, right? Where like you don't have that discipline that you have now, where you can kind of sit down, put the hours into like learn, right? Because I think MAM 1K is doable, right? It's just more so the maturity level that one is at.
Okay.
When you first come here. Because think of it like this. Like I remember like first year, like you could study for your exam like a night or two before, right?
And still be fine.
And you'd still be fine. Now it's like you can't do that. Even though you still do it, you can't. Right? So that's the only difference between the two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What I wanted to ask you is, what are the potential career options people have with a CS degree? Where is it that they can go? And I know it's like somewhat limitless, but give me maybe 5.
So, okay, fine. So I'm going to tell you like what my degree choice of like computer science and like business computing / information systems. So from the information systems route, you could be a business analyst. You could be a UI UX developer.
Okay, what's that?
User interface and like user experience. So that's basically like if you open a website, right? Like the thing that you see is the user interface, right?
Yes.
And then like being able to navigate through the different like.
So how it looks and feels.
Yeah, how it looks and feels, all that stuff, right? You could be like a software engineer, which is where you actually like build the software. I mean, you could do a lot. Like it really just depends on like what you're passionate about, right? So it's like there's that. You could be a web developer, which is like building like websites and stuff. You could do a lot. Like I think like the thing that's nice about computer science is that like it doesn't limit you, right? You could go be a consultant. You could go do a lot of this stuff because like you have that practical stuff,
practical
thinking.
Yeah.
So you can always learn because like nowadays like with the growing economy and stuff, right? People learn on the job, right?
True.
So if you've proved that you can like learn a science and stuff, right? It's easy to just come into like an organization, go learn because like a lot of organizations now require like someone who has like some form of coding proficiency. So I'd say that's a nice thing about like computer science. Those are career paths it opens for you. So you're not limited where it's like, oh, okay, if you do computer science, you have to go be a software engineer. You can be a web developer, you can be a consultant, you can be a business analyst, you can be lots of things.
Be anything.
Yeah, anything actually.
That's the beauty of, I think, what you're studying. The the limitless options that you do have.
Yeah.
And especially if you're someone, maybe you're in high school and you don't know what to do, I think especially if you have the skill like analytical thinking, choose computer science because you're not stuck anywhere.
Yeah.
You can always pivot at any point in your life. If you want to work the coding side of things, you can. If you want to work the business side of things, like you said, you can always do it. So are there internships available during university? Is it possible for someone to get that, I don't know, holiday work experience? Because I know for a lot of the finance degrees, for example, we do have a lot of those options where I'll go into a company and work during the holidays. But are they there for computer science and infos?
There's a lot of opportunities out there, right? I'd say that, like, one, there's a lot of competitive places, right? And then two, you kind of need to also look, right? Because, like, at the end of the day, like, we live by, like, the law of demand and supply, right? So obviously, like, there are opportunities out there, right? One just needs to put themselves out there and look for them.
Okay.
Right? And especially one that's tailored to you, right? Like I said, like, in the computer science and information systems, right, there's different career paths that one could take, right? So right now, one might want to be like a web developer, right? So you'd look for like web development internships, right? And then maybe one might want to be like a software engineer, right? That's the nice thing about computer science. You don't need to be, you can be good in certain areas of it, right? And bad in other areas, right? But, like, you know, just pick your strengths and, like, you know, go out there.
Go with
but
it.
yeah, there are internships.
Okay, so how does one go about looking for those internships? What have you done, maybe?
So I haven't like necessarily like looked per se for internships. I'd say I only started looking this year, right? So I mean, like, what people usually do is like you go on like LinkedIn, you go on like Google, just search like software engineering internship or like, you know, web development internship, right? Email these people, like reach out to the hiring managers, like contact people, right? Like go to a place where you feel like, okay, this sounds like an IT company. Do you guys offer any internships? Go to like career fairs, go to, just like stay tapped in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So always be on the lookout for something.
Yeah, just be on the lookout, like reach out, like, you know, if you know that there's somewhere that, like, you know, use your connections as well, speak to people. Like I said to you, like me going to school this year, like I started speaking to people and I was like, oh damn, I didn't know this. I didn't know that. Like, you learn more. Like someone's like, oh, there's an internship here. You can go work here, you can go there.
Okay. What are some of the misconceptions about computer science, or at least 5 things you wish you knew before starting computer science?
At UCT or just in general?
You can say in general and at UCT. So you can combine, maybe give me 3 in general, 2 at UCT.
So I think, like I said too, like at first I thought like we'd be building apps and stuff right when you got here. That's completely wrong. I think I didn't understand that we'd be doing like the foundation, like the core foundational stuff, right? Which is still very essential because like now you have the backbone of being able to build this stuff. Another misconception I had is that like after doing the degree I'd be able to like do anything, right? I mean, I still can do anything, right? But like I think I undermined how much how dense the field is.
Okay.
Like how much growing one still needs to do. Like there's like years of knowledge that, like, you know,
you still have to accumulate.
Exactly. So in my head thinking that like, like, you know, 2-3 years and like, you know, I'd be good. Right? That was a misconception. Another one was that like, you know, thinking things would be like high school, you know. I think like just university as a whole as well just wakes you up that like, you know, life isn't like high school.
True.
Like, you know, you don't just quickly write up things and like, you know, submit. I mean, there are people like that, right? And I do respect those people because like those are like the wonders of the world, right? But like, you know, for
it's
me,
like the 1% who can put bare minimum and still do well.
Exactly. So I think that's also one thing, and also just I don't think okay, some misconception that people may have as well, right, is thinking that like computer science and like for like is all tech. Do you get what I mean? Because I think people just like get the word like computers and science and think that like, oh, I can like, you know, it's just all one thing, right? There's different branches to it.
True.
Right. And I'd say that's one thing I've learned.
Okay.
There's different branches to it, and like, you know, you find a stream that you like and you go with it.
There's more to it there's more to it than what meets the eye.
Exactly. That's why it teaches so many different things. Because in learning these different things, right, you then leave university being able to go pick, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I think that's also why, like, here, most of the time, some people double major in like computer science, like maybe business computing, computer science and stats, right? Because what computer science gives you is that coding proficiency, right? And then whatever else you're double majoring in, right, you can take that coding proficiency and go use it there. Like if you're doing stats, you can now start building like data models and like all this stuff.
The data science field becomes yours, yeah.
Exactly.
I think what I've learned about computer science as well, just from the outside, is that firstly, it is versatile, because I heard of a girl I know who is doing computer science and biology, and I was like, why would you do computer science and biology? And she's speaking about how, no, she's using computer science, and then they help track, I forgot what she's tracking, or what, but like whatever models that they're building to understand human nature. And I was like, wow, that's very cool. And I didn't even think it would be a compatible double major.
Like being able to like build like simulations and stuff, like that stuff is so cool. When you think of it, like back in the day when we do experiments, right? Like you'd see like like if you're watching like TV, like you'd see like people pouring chemicals into things like this, right? Now with like the power of like computers and computer science, right? We can simulate experiments. We don't need to actually run experiments, which saves money, right? And saves resources as well.
Okay.
So it's like, yeah, like that's just like the stuff that like computer science does for you. Like it just speeds up things, it makes life easier. And I think in the world that we're going in now with like AI and like all this advanced technology coming in, right? It's only gonna get bigger and better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love that. So you're also part of the Ellen Gray Fellowship.
Oh yeah.
How has your experience with that been? It is notoriously known to be difficult to get into, but how has your experience been so far?
So, okay, I think my journey with like the Ellen Gray Foundation is quite interesting because it's like at first I'd said no to the opportunity, right?
Why? Wow. Whoa. You said no? Okay.
I mean, because I wanted to go to Europe, right? Like, let me see, my parents wanted me to go to Europe, right?
Okay, to study there.
Yeah, to go study there. And then obviously as like the year was going by, because like, like I was meant to go to Europe in like the August, right?
COVID.
Of 2021, then like, not really COVID, but like, I was still like stuck. Because remember I said no, I wanted to do it. I knew who I wanted to be as a person, but I didn't know what I needed to do now to get there.
Okay.
So I'm thinking about Europe, saying, okay, I'm going to go to school, then what? And I remember I kept saying this question, like, oh my God, I'm going to go here, then what? And then like I started looking more into like, the whole Ellen Gray thing and like seeing all this stuff about like how it cultivates like entrepreneurs and stuff. And I was like, oh damn, like that's something I want to do, right? Like it was like more enticing, right? And I was like, actually, the idea of like moving to South Africa isn't that bad. And then like as I did more and more, like going into the foundation, and then obviously like there's the submissions, there's all this stuff which is like meant to like make you a well-rounded person, right? Which I honestly appreciate. I think like Ellen Gray's given me so many opportunities, right? It's also helped me learn things that like I feel like I may never have gotten the opportunity to have learned. And I'm always grateful for it. It's also put me in a position where like I feel like I now have the ability, right? Or I'm gaining the ability, right, to actually become like a social entrepreneur, which is what I want to be, right? I've like, go to Jamboree, gone to pitch, won some money, you made some money as well. And I think all that comes through like the skills the foundation has given me. I don't see another university experience, right, where I get the opportunity to like, start a startup, right? Like raise the money we've been able to raise and like do all the opportunity, like do all the things I've been able to do. Like I'm always grateful and there's still more to do, right? But I'd say like Ellen Gray helps in that aspect where like, they take people with the potential of being something, right? And help them get there. It's like that, like that gap. They bridge the gap, right? And I remember it goes back to something in high school where there was this service I used to be a part of, Leaders in Action, right? And we'd bring in like young leaders in around like the community, right? And like have like a seminar for like the weekend, right? And I remember like this one Leaders in Action, we had to come up with a theme. I made the theme, and the theme was Dreams to Action. Because at that point in time in my life, I felt like you have all these dreams of all the things you want to achieve in your life, right?
But you don't know how to get there.
Exactly, like the action. Like people die with dreams, and that's one of like my biggest things. I'm like, don't die with dreams. Like when it's all said and done, like you wanna kind of close your book and say like, you know what, I lived. Like I've done. Like I said what I wanted to do, and I want to go do it. So I think so Ellen Gray has given me all these opportunities to be able to like learn all this stuff, like mentorship, right? People don't get that, like being able to have like an industry mentor who can kind of tell you about the industry and like go into like right now. I think me and my industry mentor, we have such a good relationship. Like he talks to me about like real life stuff, where he tells me like, oh yeah, like this. Like I'll speak to him about like like my business and stuff, and be like, oh like do it like this, do it like that. And I'm like, wow, like I appreciate that, right? Like having like an entrepreneurship leadership officer, right? Like someone who's literally dedicated to like having meetings with you, right? About like your startup, and helping you navigate through it. Like you don't get those opportunities for free, as well, right? Not many people get access to those type of opportunities, right? What else? You also get like your PO, right? Like literally someone who checks up when you during your whole university experience, right? Of how you're doing, like how's your mental welfare, how's your education doing? Like you don't get that type of like hands-on approach from someone, right?
Yeah.
And for me, I'm always grateful for that because it keeps me in check. They've also helped me like kind of like raise my standard because like, when you know that you have to maintain a certain GPA to stay within the foundation, right?
60%.
Exactly, yeah, 60%. Like it drives you. You get me? Like it's easy for some people to be like, nah, I just need like a 50% rate.
Yeah.
But like already going in knowing that like just for you to stay, you need to be above 60% rate. It automatically drives you to be like above that,
Better.
right? And yeah, you just don't get those opportunities from these people. And yeah, I'm grateful. And like that's why I want to do the same type of thing as well, because it's like
For other people.
because it's given me that opportunity, right? So in being fortunate and privileged enough to have been able to have gotten this opportunity, right? I also want to succeed so I can open doors for other people as well.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. You spoke like a true candidate fellow. And I love it. I think I resonate with everything you said. Being part of the foundation it's a gift, essentially. It's such a gift. Not everyone can get this gift. And the fact that they see something in you, you were chosen for a reason.
Yeah.
And it means that there's potential in you that we need to unlock. And that potential will not only help you, but it will also help the community around you. And they will essentially help their community. And it just spreads from that one person making a change. They effectively can change hundreds of lives.
Thousands. Because like, I'm someone who believes in like destiny. I wouldn't say I'm like a chakra person or anything like that. But like, I'm someone who believes in like God's timing and God, like everything, like everything that's happened now, right? Even this interaction, I believe in like that interconnectedness of each other, right? So, and every time I look back at it, right, and just like from like the minute I got taken into Ellen Gray, right, I submitted my application, like I did my application, submitted the day it was due, right? I like when I say to you, I didn't care, right, about it, I was just doing it just to do it, right? And like to have gotten in and like meeting all the different people I've met, right? Like through the foundation, every time I'm like, oh, like I always say thank you, God.
Yeah.
Like that's the true one thing that I always thank God for, because it's like, who knows what life would have been for me right now? Because I feel like a lot of people struggled finding that purpose in life, right? Or like even just have like, how am I gonna get there? Like your goal and drive. Like you could have all these dreams of, oh, I want to do this, but you don't have that like access or like ability to be able to do this stuff, right? Like I don't know who I'd be without them, right?
True.
And like I always say, like, I'm always grateful for it, right? And I think that's just something which like, I would encourage people out there, like, if you have the chance to go apply, right? And like, you never know, like your life could change overnight.
It really can.
Yeah.
It really can. To wrap up the conversation, if you could study CS all over again, would you do it?
Yeah. I would, because like I don't believe in like regrets or anything, right?
Okay.
So I just believe in like I would do it again the same exact way.
The same exact way.
Yeah.
Love
I mean,
it.
the only thing I'd change is maybe like my approach to it, right? But then like, do I learn the things I've learned now? You get me? So it's like, yeah, we'll do it the same exact way.
Alrighty. So I'd like you to look into that camera, right?
Okay.
Speak to yourself in 10 years. And, this could be a video you come back to and say, oh, speak to yourself in 10 years and say what you think he would need to hear.
So, 10 years from now, I'd say, I hope you're still doing what you set out to do. I hope you still keep like, family and friends close, and that like you value the important things in life, and like you don't let like all the shallow and like materialistic stuff get to you, right? And you just always remember that the reason why you set out to do the things that you wanted to do was to make a change in the world. Like don't lose focus, don't get distracted by all the nonsense. Like, just a tunnel vision, boy. Tunnel vision.
Yeah. So what I've learned from you today is I've learned a lot actually. Yeah. Firstly, the way you approach life is very, I like how action orientated you are. Like, how do we get to the next point? And that's very inspiring, not only to me, but to other people, because we do get caught up in our dreams, but we don't actually put it on paper and action out a plan to get to where we want to be. I've also learned that maybe how we approach our school or our degrees can really change how the outcome of your degree really is. Like, now that you've approached it with more of a, I'm here to learn, you're being more fruitful in how, like, your degree is more fruitful. You're starting to enjoy it more. And what else I've learned from you is that do not limit yourself. Don't limit yourself. Like, whatever you do not limit yourself. You're far greater than you think you are right now. You can achieve far more than you think you can achieve. And always keep an open mind, and always remember that the decisions you're making today, 5 years from now, could change the course of your life.
Exactly. I call it forward thinking, right? So in that, every time before I make any decision, right, I like to think about and this is maybe like me overthinking, right? I like to think of what consequences this decision has, right? Like, so I'm someone where maybe it's like a downside or like a flaw. I don't like living in the moment, right? Because I think living in the moment is the biggest distraction out there. Right?
Okay.
I believe in everything that you do has to have a reaction, and you have to have thought it out, right? So right now it's Like, you know, like I don't like drink or I don't go out, right? No, in fact, I can go out, right? But like, I'm not like an active party goer and stuff, right? I used to be, but like, I'm not. And in that, it's because like I understood that like, this isn't getting me anywhere, right? This whole thing of like, oh, you're young, have fun. It's like, you're still gonna be alive in like 5-10 years, right?
True.
And like, these are the years to make yourself.
To build.
Yeah, like literally, like if you like, I always like check. This might sound like dark, right? But like, I look at like this. Not everyone's gonna make it in life, right? And once you understand and accept that, right, you have to kind of look at yourself like, what are you gonna do for yourself to make sure you make it, right? You're gonna get lost in the sauce and kind of like just let life take you by. Then you wake up like 5-10 years from now, you're like, oh,
Unhappy with where you are.
unhappy with you. Oh, I wasted all these opportunities. I wasted that, right? Or you know, look back 5-10 years from now and be like, wow, like
I did that.
I did that. Because like you never know. Like at the end of the day, like I'd much rather like I enjoy what I'm doing. Do you get what I mean? And I think that's the thing where sometimes like even with friends, like you outgrow people, right? Because people want to do like the same old stuff, right? You kind of want to grow and like move in this direction, right?
True.
And it's like you're being pulled like this, right? So you kind of need to put yourself in a position where you're like, what do I want, right? Is being in the club this weekend gonna like benefit me 5-10 years from now? Am I gonna feel bad the next day?
Yeah.
You get me?
Forward looking, forward looking. Just from my side and from Kabelo, it has been an amazing podcast. Please share it with all the people you know. Make sure to tell them, like, guys, this is a podcast to grow you, to educate you, to give you all the information you need to make the best career choice for you. Today was not only about careers, but it was also about our outlook on life, our outlook on our everyday our day-to-day life. It was our outlook on how we approach things. So I hope it taught you something. I hope you can take the little nuggets that we've shared and maybe you will grow. In fact, you will grow from the small nuggets we have shared with you guys. But from me and Kabelo, it is goodbye.